Welcome to the Owner's Box. I'm Vince J.
It's your boy B. Scott.
And we're here to talk to you about a little bit of draft. And it's draft weekend all over the country.
We're not talking about that back draft, that stuff that you get to really
let's talk about that. Let's get on into the show real quick, man. Okay, so the reason you come to our show is you want to know about how to draft or just about fantasy football. All over the place. Anyway,
whatever.
We're going to start with our draft. We had a draft just this morning. Man, it was crazy.
Great draft. Great draft.
I like the guys. I mean, we got a couple of guys from Twitter. So we love that. You can always hit us up. We talk about drafting, and we talk about picking up people and waiver wires and all that stuff. So make sure that you check us out at Twitter.com/theownersbox or at theownersbox.com or any of that stuff.
That being said, we had a couple of rookies that came in that kind of held up the draft a little bit. I had breakfast and coffee and everything I wanted to get.
Yeah.
And I guess with the rookies in there, I wasn't expecting the draft to go as long, but you know, when you're having systematic issues and all that kind of stuff, forgetting draft times.
Yeah,
you dial it up, man, on a rotary.
Do they still make dial up? Is AOL still in business?
Wow.
Dang. Okay, sorry about that, y'all.
Commercial break.
Yeah. Moving right along, let's go ahead and talk about today's draft. First of all, the hit or miss. Who's your hit?
Hit or misses for me, definitely my hit was being the #1 draft. I was in the #1 spot, and I picked up Aaron Rodgers, the obvious #1 pick.
I agree with that. That would have been the first person. I know in all the mock drafts, it's running backs, too.
Yeah.
You gotta go with somebody who's going to start every weekend. Otherwise,
the biggest point getter you get. I mean, your running backs are going to probably give you those consistent. I mean, the top 4 or 5 running backs will give you those consistent numbers. But if you want that extra 100 points, those bonuses, like Drew Brees did for me last year, they carried me all the way through. And you can expect that from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he'll definitely keep you in the game. So, your miss?
My miss was I missed Run DMC. By about 3 slots.
I don't know how you thought, by 3 slots. Oh, well. I don't know how you thought he was going to last until the 20th pick.
Well, I thought that someone may like someone else, or people psychologically.
You were hoping.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd say, well, he's injury prone, I don't want to pick him up.
A little bit of cash, I could have probably, make a deal.
Well, I think that I have that covered.
All right, so now my hit or miss, my hit was Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall, I picked him up in the 6th round.
That was a steal.
That's what I'm saying. I was really targeting Reggie Bush because I just thought that was going to be the best available in that, at that point. But when I saw him and you guys didn't even consider him, I was like, whoa.
That was because I had Reggie Bush.
Ricky Musabi. So grabbed him, and that's a guy that I could start every week at that position and not have to move him.
Right.
Whereas with Reggie, I was going to have to flip-flop him based on whatever the matchup was.
Right.
So my miss was Cedric Benson. This was probably around 8 or 9, maybe 10. I think it was around 10. And it had to be about 10 because I went for a defense. There was no way I should have went for a defense, especially not the Seattle defense, at that point.
No, definitely not.
When Cedric Benson was not being seen, he was flying under the radar. That was my miss. That absolutely. Don't make that mistake. If he's out there, get him. Something I saw on Twitter this week was a person said that maybe 5th round is too high to get a defense. What the person came back to say was, I don't care who I'm picking. When I pick them, I can only pick one person at a time, and I want to make sure that I get them. I get that. Totally get that. Now, value comes into play, but her point was, if that is the best defense out there, why not take them? I mean, people are doing that with the 2 tight ends.
Yeah. I think that the beautiful thing to me is I know this guy. And going to the draft, you heard him say already that I stole Reggie Bush from him. And then just before that, right after that, he was coming from the 49ers defense, and everybody should know better than think that I'm going to let them go. And I snatched him up just before him then. Now, he did steal Randy Moss from me. And not that I'm going for the homer, I just really think that he got some key players in key positions that are absolute obvious. Coincidentally, they just happen to be on the 49ers, best team in the NFL, and this year's Super Bowl champions.
Look at them Steelers. That's all I got to say.
Well.
So let's go into the draft pick. The draft tip.
Draft tip is now that the draft is over. If your waiver wire looks anything like ours, there is nothing out there. So the best thing you do is start playing defense with the drafts and strategically making your trades.
But see, I don't really get the playing defense. I want players. That's all I want. I'm gonna do this soliloquy. Yeah, you gotta leave on that. I want players. Have you had that somewhere before? So my draft tip was actually, if we're gonna talk about the night before you actually draft, I want to make sure that you get some. But this is what you need to do: preparation. Put down every round by round. You want the players that you're targeting. Put 4, maybe 5 players that you're putting in every round. And then when your time comes up, you're not scrambling trying to figure out who's available. You don't care who's available. You want who you want, and that's it. Okay, so I did look outside the box a little bit. Yes, you got to take a little peek to see who's out there, because somebody may just screw up and say Aaron Rodgers, may not pick up Aaron Rodgers, and then he's available to you in the 3rd round. Dude, that's value. You got to deal with that. That's all I'm saying is round by round, 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round. When you get down, especially down to 10, 11, 12, 13, you want to make sure you have the players that you want, that you've already researched, and you are either, as he would say, you want these kind of people that you're going to play defense with, because you're keeping them for yourself and not letting nobody else get them. Or like me, I want gems. I want sleepers in those positions.
Well, if your eyes is wide open, then you're not sleeping. I somewhat agree with you, but still back to playing defense. I have individuals on my team that I know without a shadow of a doubt. They just haven't performed for me yet. Mm-hmm. My tip is definitely you want to look at those number 1 picks that you know are not going to come out of the game. Those solid positions, and then stack your bench with those people in those positions that people are obviously going to need. And as long as those key players are on your bench, they're not scoring points against you.
Well, I get that. It's just tough. I mean, like the Randy Moss pick. I'm picking Randy Moss because I think that maybe in a bye week, or let's say that he goes off and either one of my players get hurt or something like that. I got him. Your point is, I got him, so you don't have him.
That's exactly correct.
Let's get on into the waiver wire gems. And with this, we're going to talk a little bit about, if you got one player, better yet, it's not waiver wire time yet. Let's go back to the end of the draft. These are some of the guys that I've kind of picked out. Maybe in round 9, you want to look for maybe C.J. Spiller.
Yeah.
You want to look for Big Ben. If you haven't picked up a quarterback yet, let's say that you didn't get one of the top 3. You can slide all the way down to 9. Big Ben is available right there for you. Maybe you can even look at somebody like Kenny Britt, Matt Schaub. Yeah,
in the 9th round. In the 9th round, Matt Schaub, and RG3 was a surprise.
Right.
Now, I guess it's semantics to me, but I was surprised to see him still around in the 9th round.
That's not a bad place to take him. Maybe. If he's a flyer, I mean, he may never play for you. You got a stud. Yeah, you got a stud already. Why not throw him in there and see what he does? I mean, he could be this year's Cam Newton. We don't know who this year's Cam Newton is going to be, right? 10th round, Reggie Wayne and Nate Washington. It's more bust on that than boom for me. Jay Cutler's there. That's a definite boom.
Andy Dalton,
yeah.
Some steals that should actually be there. I mean,
Sidney Rice could actually be a steal that could really blow the heck up, blow the top off of some things. Titus Young and Flacco, well, I probably feel the same way about both of them.
Right. That's no surprise to me. I think that if you find any of those players, either one of those, Titus Young or Joe Flacco, in the 11th or 12th round, and you're looking for that bye week individual, that's what they are.
Yeah. In the 11th round, we saw Carson Palmer. We got Alex Smith, 2 other quarterbacks. 12th round, Alshon Jeffries, Stephen Hill, Danny Amendola. These are names, you're 12, 13, maybe even 14th round that you can still find these guys. Randy Moss, I think we found in the 13th. We found John Skelton. I've got Mark Sanchez. Okay, Mark Sanchez, I'd probably say you can even waiver wire for him. He'll still be available.
Yeah. Mark Sanchez, definitely.
Right. Pierre Thomas, I picked him up. I'm still not really sure on which one of these guys are going to be the go-to guy in the Saints, but it is what it is right there. Jacob Tammy in the 14th. That's a great place for maybe or Dreesen as a tight end in the 14th or 15th round.
Eagles defense.
That's
surprising. I think in our draft, I think that in normal drafts that the Eagles defense would probably hover around. If you find them 10th or 11th around after you've got all your solid starters and everything, you definitely want to snatch the Eagles. And if they stay around, if people drafting defenses earlier than that, that's definitely a defense that
you can probably steal with that. I mean, that's a decent defense for sure. They're going to step back. They're going to actually be a little bit more formidable this year. The Jets, the Lions, the Giants, those are three defenses also in the 15th round that you can find them. So you can wait on one of those. Well, guys, that's about it. That's all that you need. If you have any other questions, make sure that you tweet us. Or you can see us on Facebook at Facebook/The Owner's Box. Again, at The Owner's Box is our Twitter, and hit us up. I'm Vince J.
I'm B. Scott.
And we are out. We'll holler at you.
Peace.
Ooh.